I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is the balance of pain and pleasure. Look, one of the most absolutely infuriating aspects of being alive is the asymmetry between pleasure and pain. And this asymmetry manifests itself in several different ways. For instance, there are so many different flavors of pain and suffering. There are species of anger and despair and envy and guilt and loneliness and dementia and disease and cruelty and injustice. They vastly outnumber the number of different flavors of pleasure and contentment. What's more, painful experiences seem to be more painful than pleasurable experiences are pleasurable. And this is really important to closely examine if you are trying to win the game of hedonism, which is to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. The game is rigged because it's not a one-to-one ratio. It's not like if you have one pleasant experience and one painful experience that you've somehow broken even, because the negative experience is likely to be more negative and the positive experience is positive. So an even balance of positive and negative experiences is actually a net negative. The house is winning at this point, and that's why the game of hedonism is actually so very hard to win. And this has been corroborated by scientific research into relationships as well. For example, John Gottman, the psychologist who runs the Love Lab in Seattle, has closely examined the micro interactions between couples and has derived some very robust conclusions about what causes a relationship to flourish and what causes a relationship to fail. Gottman has identified what he calls the magic ratio of positive to negative interactions with respect to successful relationships. According to his research, for a relationship to succeed, there has to be at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction, at minimum 5 to 1. So this is something to keep in mind with respect to your various relationships. It's not enough that the positives balance the negatives. On the contrary, if that were the case, you're probably going to be miserable. Rather, we need to have at least 5 positive interactions for every 1 negative interaction in order to experience that relationship to be a net benefit at all. And this conclusion lends itself to an obvious deduction, namely, if you want to improve your overall happiness or the quality of your relationships, rather than try to increase the number of positive interactions, it's much more efficient and effective to reduce the number of negative interactions, if possible, because of the asymmetricality of the ratio involved. You get way more bang for your buck by mitigating the negative than attempting to augment the positive. What do you think? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for the algorithm, and see the About tab for more information on donations and consultations. Thanks for listening.